Brady got his rings a way. Now Mahomes got his rings a way. But they didn't do it the same way as the other ones. They did it the unique way. They had a unique style that got them to the chip multiple times, all three of them. So I love the fact that you were saying celebrate the one thing that is unique, and that is you, and have that come out of you. And if it does, then chances are people will embrace you if you have a personality that's worthy to embrace.
Exactly.
If not, you might be in trouble. But if you try to pattern yourself after somebody, you will be hated on for being a copycat. So yeah, I fully grasp. I fully grasp that.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, we're gravitating toward those type of people because they're doing it. They're doing it in 3D, but once again, it's their way. I don't know if your audience is probably not familiar with a good old singer. There's a way before my time too. I mean, I'm old, but I'm not decrepit. Not yet, anyway. If I'm blessed to be decrepit, Frank Sinatra, God bless his soul. He had a song called, "I Did It My Way."
My way. Mm-hmm.
It was, and so when you listen to the lyrics, it goes back to like, I don't know about anybody else's way, my way. This is the way I did it. So I think that same philosophy applies here. When you look at, again, and you're right, Cole. It goes. We always expect somebody to say the next so and so because that's how society is, looking for the next greatness. But then, I think for me, when the next greatness happens, it's a surprise.
It is.
I don't think that we should put onus unless they want onus on themselves. I won't be the next so and so. I was asked once in an interview, and I forgot the person that they were referring me to about if so and so stepped up. They're a legendary broadcaster here in Chicago. If so and so stepped down, and you were asked to take their position, how would you feel about taking on their footsteps? And I replied, those footsteps belong to that person, whoever is retiring. I'm putting on my own pair of shoes and starting my own path.
I love that.
Yeah, let those footprints belong to somebody else. I got to start my own footprints, so I don't need to wear his shoes. I got to put my own shoes on and start my own road. And that's to be said of anybody that's out here doing this or doing anything in life. You have to, obviously, you're walking the path that's traveled. It's your path and nobody else's. And you have to realize that there's going to be pitfalls and trials and tribulations. That's for anybody. The key thing is, can you dust yourself off? One thing I like about the movie Rocky Balboa, first of all, Sylvester Stallone does not give enough credit. He is a brilliant writer. He really is. The scene we're talking outside his son at Adrian's, and he's like, nobody hits harder than life, but the key thing is to dust yourself off and keep moving forward. And he keeps telling his son that. It's like, look, because his son was saying, Dad, you cast a big shadow. And he was like, look, I may cast a big shadow, that's my shadow. If you want something, to go out and get it. Don't blame me or her or anybody else. You got to get that. That's what winning is all about. And Sylvester Stallone wrote that stuff.
It's absolutely right. It's you can easily. It's easy for you to. I think it's easier for people to blame mothers when they don't succeed, and they don't realize that it's how you're thinking about it. It's your mindset. It's how you're approaching it. If you keep approaching it like I'm the victim, then that's what you're always going to be. You need to go into the mindset like regardless of what obstacles I'm facing in life, I'm going to, like you said, pick myself up, dust myself off, keep it moving. Because the moment you stay and you wallow in your self-pity and you're like, oh, woe's me, or woe, you're gonna lose. And then you're wondering why things happen, why the same negative things are happening. Well, that's the energy you're putting. When you're in that self-doubt, in that self-pity, and you're saying, oh, it's me, it's look at what's happening to me. What are you talking about? It's happening to everyone. People go through something different. People go through situations in their lives. You're not the only one that is going through struggles in life.
Right.
Everyone has their struggles. Everyone has their issues. And Some of us hide it better than others, or they just know when it's time for them to express it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, it is true. Or they not only know how to express it, they understand that they, or at least if you go through enough of them and you understand that trials are meant to make you better, they tell the story because that story is at its end. And they can actually say to you, well, I did go through this, and it was horrible, and man, I was terrible. But look at me now. I suffered through all of that. I've traversed through all of this, and I am the person that you see now. And I don't smell like smoke. I'm dealing with two widowers here on this panel right now. I don't have that. I don't have that testimony. You two do, and you two are probably two of the most jovial people I know. But you had to deal with that pain and learn how to navigate it, and probably still at times have to navigate it still. But the story is not the struggle. The story is I now have made it to this point where the tragedy and the travesty does not define me. And it makes me look at the both of you with higher respect because you all have done that. You all have done that work, and now you move forward. And I can't tell that you suffered such a huge loss, because that's not your story. The story I hear is a legend in radio. The story I hear is a content creator who knows how to create great shows and put on good interviews. And it's a testament to the gentleman that you both are. So I appreciate the both of you, and similarly, I appreciate you in that regard.
Well, look, I obviously we both have these stories, and I don't believe in revisionist history. My wife Vicky and me, we met in high school, and I was 16 years old, and I knew then I wanted to be a monk because no girls wanted me whatsoever. I said, Wise is a good-looking dude. I mean, he's probably got all types of girls when he was in high school. Me, on the other hand, no, I had to work hard, Doc, and I got to a point where, I'm going to give myself one of those brown robes and tie a rope around my waist, and just and become a monk because at 16, yes sir, yeah, I thought about that. Seriously, I was going to become a eunuch and not even think about girls at all whatsoever. And then my future wife comes along. We were good friends, and we met in school, like I said, and she was always good in math, and I was never good in math. English was my top thing, and she didn't like English. All right, then we'll tell you what, I'll come over your house and you'll help me with this math crap. And with English, we'll go from there. And that's how we met. And it went from there. But no, man, no girls wanted me at all. I mean, and so I'm not hating on my man Wise up there. He looks like a light-skinned dude. But back in the day, light-skinned brothers were getting all the action, man. In the 80s, we talking about the 80s, man. Light skin was in the 80s, Doc. I mean, you had to have hair.
We all know that. Yeah.
And I'm brown from the boogie down. Ain't nothing wrong with me, but girls just kept seeing this light skin stuff. And, if you were light skinned, bald headed with one hair sticking out your bald head like Tweety Bird, you can still pull girls.
Oh man,
you're right.
But you're right, he light skinned.
But you're right, bro. If I went to high school at Wise by the time I was in high school, yeah, I wouldn't have stood a chance.
He didn't make no sense.
He would have been turning down numbers right and left.
Right. I mean, and once again, my best friend, Fletch, he's light skinned. He's damn near see through. So I've known him since back in the day in grammar school. He was best man at my wedding. That's my man.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't have a problem with the ladies. I did.
Like I said.
Hey, let me ask you something. Would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? Would you seat them beside a lit fireplace or by the deep end of a pool? One last question. Would you seat your child in a car seat that's not correct for them? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Whether you are a professional football champion or a fantasy football champion, Martusio Chiropractic is the place to recover from all your sports injuries. Proudly serving Trumbull County, Martusio Chiropractic is located at 369 Niles Cortland Road in Warren. Martusio Chiropractic accepts most insurance plans, now accepting new patients and offering some same.
It's that time again when all we want to talk about is football. High school, college, and pro football. There's one man set to bring it all to you. It's time for Just Football with Matt Emsch. Matt was a first-time AP, all-offensive lineman with the Ursuline Irish and three-time national champion with Youngstown State. And now, here's Matt.
And welcome to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emsch. Welcome to another week of the show. Thank everybody who is listening tonight. Shout out to my Uncle Cappy. You know he's calling a game up in heaven. It's probably amazing. So here we are, guys. It seemed like a second ago the regular season started. Here we are, another week 9. One more week of regular season next week, and then the OHSAA playoffs. It just goes so incredibly fast. It's really crazy. We have a good show for you today. In a few minutes, we're going to have a call from Coach Brian Shaner of the Mineral Ridge Rams, who have a huge game this week versus the Blue Devils of Western Reserve. Take a little trip out there, have an away game, and then we'll finish up the last week of the regular season, just, a rivalry game against McDonald, nothing big, finishing out big, and hopefully everything, goes right. It looks really good right now at the moment for the Rams. Hopefully things keep going well for them. Heal up, guys. Just a little sore. We got guys coming up. They're doing well. I think they're going to be ready this week. I really do. So we'll be talking to him in a couple minutes. We'll have our own Jim Craven calling in around 6:30. He's going to talk about their matchup this weekend. Also, maybe a little chat from Jim about, the Phantoms. He, does have a little bit to do with the team, just a tiny bit. Just kidding. And then we'll finish up, as always, about a quarter till with my partner, Matt Lipsack, who is the voice of the Youngstown Phantoms, and he definitely will be giving us some scoop on what's going on with the Phantoms and who they have this week and what he thinks of how they look so far this season. I got a great look at them a couple weeks ago when, they only won 12-0 football score versus Team USA. They pulled up the banner from the championship from last year, and we will I'm sure put more pictures as we go of the rocks and the rings and the trophies. So we have Coach Shaner definitely going to be calling in any minute here, and then we shall start up with him. I am just looking forward to getting to the football season. Or the football weekend. I apologize. And, it's just like you get to kind of deflate and, get away from the world and, anybody that calls games, you guys know what I'm talking about. Mark, Jim, Coach Bob. So, and I think we have Coach Shaner on the line. Coach, how you doing?
Shaner.
Good. How are you?
Coach Shaner.
Yes, I'm here.
And I don't have Coach.
I have
we'll
you.
try this one more time, everybody. I apologize.
Brian Mineral.
And we are having a issue for some reason here. Coach Shaner is on the line. Coach, can you hear me? Coach Shaner, we got you, I think.
Got me now?
It doesn't sound great. I don't know what's going on. I wish I had my engineer here right.
Do you want to try to call me or do I have to call you?
And I am going to try and get this. Coach, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. So, everybody, I apologize. We have a little issue with the phones right now. I don't know what's going on. Coach, can you hear us?
Yes, I got
All
you.
right, we got you. Thank God. Everybody,
Yeah.
excuse me. I'm used to having an engineer on here. I apologize, everybody. Coach, I'm sorry about that, man.
That's okay.
I'm not used to handling the equipment in this manner, but I'm learning. So, how is everybody doing? How is practice going this week? We ready for the Blue Devils?
Yeah, you know what? Just kind of repeat of last week. Great practice going on. Guys keep getting healthy and, looking forward to the matchup this Friday.
Well, we are looking forward to it as well. With each week as we go, more importance, Coach. Obviously, the games are more important. Are the players aware of, we need to really, us against the world, pull it in and just play mistake free?
Our guys, you know what? I can't believe how grounded our boys are. They're maintaining the this week, 1 week at a time attitude. Get after it, practice hard, show up ready to go. They know that it's a win and you're in the playoffs kind of thing. But I think they're more focused on simply trying to beat Western Reserve. I don't think there's any outside influences going on. The Week 10 rival, it hasn't even been mentioned. Our guys are really approaching this week with the right mindset and a great attitude, and they know we played well last week, and we got to keep building on that and try to get after this team.
I was very vocal about my feelings to you and about on the radio about, I thought yes, it was a loss and it hurts to lose, but I really think you guys played extremely well. You have two programs that are really doing well. You guys have a ton of young guys. I still, even though we're going into week 9, I just marvel at how well the group of young men that you have, and most of the listeners out there who aren't familiar with Mineral Ridge, they have so many freshmen and sophomores and a number of juniors that are playing, but more freshmen and sophomores than I am used to seeing on a program. And they're not only stepping up and playing, for the coach and for the team because it's next man up, but they're playing fabulous. Coach, who are some of those young guys that stand out to you?
It has to start up front. With Phoenix and Rackets, our two freshman linemen that have just stepped in. They were JV guys. We thought coming in the season, we thought maybe Phoenix was going to step up as a freshman and get time, but we didn't know. In our league, I don't know who else has freshmen playing like we do, and it was out of necessity. Now they're playing because they're that darn good. The Silac and Thomas Kanowski, those two guys are playing on every special teams as freshmen, and it doesn't matter. We throw them out there, and we expect them to get the job done, and they're doing a great job for us, and they had to do a lot of growing up really quick. And when you go against a program like Springfield and you're putting freshmen out there, they're going against men, and our guys let us know. They're like, hey, they're a little bit bigger and stronger than what we're used to, but our guys don't back down. They play really hard, and I'm proud of them. But again, it's still, you're throwing freshmen out there, and we buy into them guys just like they buy into us, and they're fun to watch.
They are, and they're fun to call games watching, and it's been an honor so far this season. And Coach is right, everybody. You have this matchup from last week with the Rams traveling to the Tigers, and they faced, as Coach said, a much older team, physically older, physically bigger. And you can see that with your eyes. And when you look at them on paper, you see all the 9s and 10s next to that roster who are playing. And I agree, they did a great job. And man, does that scream for what's coming up, in the future for you and your program. It's very exciting. What do we have to really watch for this week, Coach, when we travel to Berlin Center to face the Blue Devils?
I think you got to watch our intensity. I'm really excited to see if our boys can do a back-to-back weeks, play that kind of physical, intense kind of game, because I know how good this Western Reserve team is, and they are really talented everywhere on the field. Our guys have to step up to that challenge and continue to be aggressive, play physical, play reckless abandon, and don't look at that scoreboard. Wait till the final buzzer and let's see how we did, because I think we did a good job of that last week. We didn't look up there to see, what that score was.
Mm-hmm.
I think we surprised a lot of people the way we hung in there, the way we did. And like you said, I'm not about moral victories. It's wins and losses that count, and it hurts to lose. But there was a lot to build off in that game. And, again, if we keep getting healthy and we keep playing in this fashion, I think it's happening at the right time. I think our guys played our brand of football. It was a shot in the arm, getting our guys back that are healthy. And, I'm looking forward to watching us play. It was a fun game to coach. Our guys really played well for us. And, again, we're still in a building process, and just keep doing what we're doing, man. I love them.
I agree. I'm excited to see how you guys grow as the years go through. Still got 2 games. I am pumped. Your staff, I think you're doing a great job. You've got, your good friend Chet Allen, who is your defensive coordinator. I mean, just you two alone. Wow. You guys both, know how to run programs, and you've got an excellent staff underneath you. Coach, good luck this week. We will see you Friday, everybody, 6:45 p.m. We will have pregame 7 p.m. kickoff. The Rams are going to be away at Berlin Center, Western Reserve, to face the Blue Devils. Coach, good luck. Thank you for being here. Sorry about the beginning.
Oh, it was probably me, man. And you know me, I'm not real good with technology. And thank you guys for everything you do for all of us.
We appreciate you, Coach. Thanks again, and good luck. We will talk to you this Friday. Everybody, that was Coach Shaner, head coach of the Mineral Ridge Rams. And we will be right back, everybody.
With over 30 years of experience, Madurix Butcher Block in Mineral Ridge is a quality-driven company focused on great personal service. Our fresh meats are of the finest cut. We make a variety of burgers, sausages, and a full line of deli meats. Using our own smokehouse, we prepare different types of jerky, snack sticks, kibasi, bacon, hot dogs, and bone-in hams. When your tummy needs some relief, call 652-BEEF. That's 330-652-2333.
Action Physical Therapy is a locally owned outpatient physical therapy company serving the Mahoning Valley for over 20 years. With 5 convenient locations in Hubbard, Cortland, Kinsman, Salem, and Mineral Ridge. Action Physical Therapy can handle all of your physical therapy needs. Action Physical Therapy will create a unique plan made specifically for you. Call us at 1-8333-BEST-PT to schedule your evaluation today. Check us out at myactionpt.com. Get back in action with Action Physical Therapy, and as always, go Rams. If you are seeking a skilled photographer in Northeast Ohio with experience in capturing documentary-style photographs for various occasions such as family events, weddings, graduations, sporting events, and other special occasions, look no further than Colleen Moore Photography. Accessible via ColleenMoorePhotography.com, or she can be reached at 330-314-7547. Colleen sends her best wishes to the Mineral Ridge Rams for a fantastic season. Go Rams!
From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One network.
And welcome back to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emsch, and we are going to go straight to the phone lines where we have Jim Craven. Jim, how are you?
Outstanding. I'm enjoying this newly arrived fall weather.
Yeah, it is beautiful in Ohio. You know, this is my favorite part of the year. Obviously, I connect fall to football and everything, but it really is nice here. Anybody that lives like either out west in California or down in Florida or something don't get this, but you know, thank you for being here. Dang, I wish I had you a couple of times. It's the first time I've had a little electrical slip up, and I'm learning.
And you know what? Sometimes it's just trial and error. I think Dave and I have learned a lot of things.
You definitely did. So tell us, Coach. I'm sorry, Jim. I thought about your partner for a split second, Coach Gessler. Jim, who do you guys got this week? What's the game look like? I know you guys got somebody we'll be seeing pretty soon coming to town.
Yeah, Springfield will be traveling up to Trumbull County to take on the McDonald Blue Devils. Springfield 6-2, and McDonald will be 5-3 coming into this week.
It's definitely, for me and Matt Lipsack, going to give us, and obviously more importantly, you know, Coach Shaner and the staff, Coach Chet Allen at Mineral Ridge, an idea, considering they just played Springfield last week. This will kind of give a little bit of, you know, maybe an idea of what to expect when the Blue Devils come to the Rams next week.
Yeah, and certainly, and they've been an up and down team. They got the win over Wyndham last week, 40-6. But you know, offensively, it looks like they're struggling. Defense is playing very well in certain situations, but you know, I think they have an uphill battle here. But make no mistake, at 5-3, and the way things are set up right now, they're still well into the playoff mix, as are most of the teams that you look out on the Mineral Ridge and Springfield schedule.
Yeah, you know, it kind of, everyone was in this mindset of who was ranked like maybe a week or two ago that, yeah, they're going to be in, but you know what? There's some teams that they better win at least one of the last two games, or they might be, you know, on the outside looking in.
Yeah, and it all depends on strength of schedule, and it's been kind of tough. You know, a lot of the teams have played up. You take Springfield, for example, they played against Division 5 South Range, who has just been a juggernaut the last 4 or 5 years. I think they just lost their first regular season game, I believe, since 2019 this year, and that was to, I believe, Dover, who's an excellent program. And then, you know, you look at Mineral Ridge, too. I mean, I think they've got to win their two out, and I think they're playing more for a home game than they are for the playoffs. So and quite frankly, seeing them last week, got to be impressed with that young team. Boy, they were feisty, and, you know, if you were able to look down the schedule, that is the closest margin of victory that Springfield has had this year. Mineral Ridge pushed them, and I think Coach Shaner's got a lot going on there, a lot to be proud of, and a lot to look forward to in the next year or two.
I agree. He's got some really good kids coming up, but, you know, and I don't want to keep talking about that because, you know, we still got kids that are playing right now, guys that are seniors. We got Zach Stacy and Ian Erb, who are going to be the only 2 4-year letter winners for the Rams. So, you know, they definitely are yelling out there, hey, you know, guys, we're still here. We're still playing. We're looking to do something special. We haven't forgotten about you guys, but you can't help when you do what we do, Jim, and look, you know, we're trained to kind of look at, man, look at some of these young kids are really playing well. And you can't help but think down the road. So definitely a lot of future stars in the Tri-County area and the Valley that we're going to be looking at. But some of the other high school teams in there definitely have shown that they are, you know, a couple steps ahead some of the other programs. What do you think about them?
You know, if you want to talk about teams that stand out, you got to talk about Ursuline. And I know you love that. I mean, It's just, it's not the fact that they're winning; it's the manner in which they're winning, and they are going to be a tough team to come up against come the playoff time. And I'm looking at it as a late run for them, potentially a state championship. And I don't want to get ahead and jinx them. I know we're all superstitious in this sport, but you know, teams like Poland, you know, a couple of losses, but they have played extremely well. Wow. Fitch, they've played such a tough schedule this year. I had a lot of hopes for them, and I still think that we will see them in the playoffs, but they just took on Massillon, and they're going with the Steve Arnold theory from Harding. We're going to play this really tough schedule. We're going to be battle tested if we get into the playoffs. And if they do, I'm going to tell you right now, teams like Austin Town Fitch are going to be something to be dealt with, because they're going to run the gamut with these big teams. Massillon ranked number 16 in the nation by Max Preps. And, score was a little lopsided, but I'll tell you, the game was a lot tougher than the score says.
I guarantee. And, you just made a point, the Fitch might be playing all these teams and they have some losses under their belts, but they're, as you were pointing at, they're playing against some of the best competition they can be in, and they get to if they can get in there at the playoffs, they're going to be battle tested. I was just thinking back to, you had mentioned Poland, who everybody, of course, you can't ignore the fact that they're playing so well. Only had one loss, and the only loss they had was the South Range, and it was 21-7. So South Range has been throttling good teams. So, they could make some noise. I think that the other coach, that's Tom Pavlansky, I believe. Am I correct? Is his first name?
I get the Pavlansky's confused.
I think it's Tom. It's Coach Mike is at Canfield, and his brother is at Poland. I think he's doing a really good job, and he got to beat his brother this year. So they're playing well, and I agree with you on Ursuline. I mean, Ursuline they're taking it week by week. They're playing each opponent as they come. Knock on wood, if they can stay healthy and just keep their heads, because we all know, don't turn the ball over in the playoffs. Be smart, no stupid mistakes, no bad penalties. You're a team like them. You just play your game and don't do anything stupid. You're gonna make some noise. Looking at the NCAA, is there any teams, jumping out you there aside from the norm that maybe surprised you over the weekend?
Not in terms of surprise. Ohio State, of course, I was a little leery. I just felt that was going to be a game that was one of those times that could this be it where they slip up a little bit. I'm just not seeing the Ohio State quality maybe that's been there. And you got a young and a quarterback that's in his first year. And I think there's a lot of expectations when you're the quarterback of Ohio State. So I think we're a little more critical of him. But the Big Ten teams are looking really strong. I enjoy watching that. And of course, I am on the bandwagon with Colorado. I mean, you can't help but not watch them and see what's going to be done next, what's going to be said next. How good is this team going to get? A story of a coach they hired for $29 million, and Colorado University says, we don't have that money, but they're going to have it now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's been a great story out there. Of course, at the Grove City level, you hear, interesting. You know what?
Yes.
You're hearing this for the first time. I'm going to let everybody know on Saturday, we will be airing the Grove City game right here on Western Reserve Radio. So thank you to Ryan Briggs for entrusting us with that.
That's awesome.
3:15 pregame, 4 o'clock kickoff. And of course, as always, our own Mark Means, the voice of the undefeated Grove City Wolverines, will be carrying that game. And we're going to have a lot of fun with that. They have been, that's become a great program. And the Coach DiDonato has just done such an awesome job over there. And to say it's fun is an absolute understatement. I
agree. I stay in touch with Mark every Saturday. He lets me know what happened in their game and everything. And, I am absolutely 100% on the bandwagon. Mark knows that I went and saw them have a scrimmage. I met their offensive line coach, who was just an absolutely awesome guy to meet. Definitely somebody I would have liked to play for when I was in college. They're doing really good things there. They have, just a little, tidbit of information. You would know one of their players. He was, the name of Brungard, was on a state championship making team, played center.
Yes, Brady. I'll tell you, one of the best young men in the world. If you know Mark, who obviously played for YSU, you look at him and go, wow, that is a well-raised young man. And him and Bo over at Youngstown State. And hey, how about them Penguins? Big win over number 5 in the country at home in dominant fashion.
I'm so glad you said that. And I definitely was going to talk about it with you. Jim doesn't miss anything. And it was, Mark had sent me also a graphic earlier last week showing, because I've been saying, man, where are the black pants and the red tops? That is YSU. That's what, that's what, we just associated with looking. It was so intimidating in the 90s. And, he let me know they were going to be wearing it this week. I mean, I'm going to tell you what, people might think, it's just a uniform. What is different is it does make a difference. It helps get in a mindset. It makes you feel different what you're wearing. And those are legendary. And I'm not saying it was just the unis, but it was a part of it. And they played great. I was proud of them too. Huge win. Hopefully they can keep it going.
Yeah, and we were listening to them simultaneously as the Phantoms were playing. And you're listening and you're like, wow, they're not only are they winning, like they're pulling away here. This is real. And they did a fantastic job. And they made the announcement down the Cavelli Center and got a big pop down there for that. So, a lot of support goes to the Penguins, and I hope they know that. And, I know Doug Phillips is in that unenviable position to always, and it doesn't matter who's there. They're always going to be compared to Jim Tressel.
Oh, so, for sure.
But yeah. Coach Phillips is an outstanding guy. And I'm seeing some spots here that I like with Youngstown State. And I hope they can work their way up past 16 to get into that playoff bracket. I
do too. They need a good season, and they need for YSU to make, the playoffs. And, I really hope that they do as well. How about pro-wise? Give me some thoughts. I know you are a Browns fan. What are you thinking about how the NFL season is going thus far?
Well, I'll tell you, if you're a Browns fan, as always, there's no shortage of drama and injuries and things of that nature. And I think Cleveland was really kind of exposed in their last game. They were off last week, but the week before, in their depth at quarterback. And they're going to have PJ Walker named as the backup this week in the event that Watson cannot go. I believe they just announced that. So, you start to wonder what's going on. I think that injury with Nick Chubb really started a downslide. But then you take a look at somebody like the Steelers, and no matter what happens, they always bounce back. I mean, they have bad moments, but never entirety of bad seasons where everybody gives up on them. And I got to be a little disappointed, and Cincinnati, I thought they would be better, but right now, you're looking at San Francisco coming into Cleveland. San Francisco arguably could be the number 1 or 2 team in this league right now. And you take a look at Miami with their speed and what they did at Denver, and that was grueling to watch, to say the least. So I think there's a lot to be worked out here. It's such a long season with injuries and things like that. And I think that's the intriguing part about the NFLs. Basically, who's going to survive to get into that last quarter of the season and make that playoff run.
Oh, I completely agree with you. It's such a long rest of the season. So many things that can happen. And it's going to be pretty awesome. Jim, I wanted to thank you for calling in. Everybody, the Tigers will be traveling to McDonald, Trumbull County. You'll listen to Jim Craven and Bob Gessler on Western Reserve Radio Friday at 7. Thanks for calling in, Jim. We'll talk to you later. This is Just Football.
All right, enjoy, Matt.
Thank you.
Experience nature's bounty with Creation's Backyard. Elevate your health with the most nutrient-dense foods on earth. From farm to table, sustainably cultivated with care. Grown locally in Niles, Ohio with no chemicals or synthetics ever. Unlock your culinary creativity with Creation Backyard Microgreens. Convenient local delivery and pickup options available. Order now at creationsbackyard.com or call 330-282-7208.
Jesse's Dairy Cove is a hometown favorite, located at 3743 State Route 46, across from the gazebo in Mineral Ridge. Enjoy all of your favorite ice cream. We have over 32 hard scoop and over 40 soft serve favorites. We also have a large food menu, including homemade chili sauce, sloppy joes, pulled pork, fresh cut French fries, and mac and cheese. This fall, we'll start our homemade cookie and party trays. Visit our website at justicedairycove.com to see our menu. At Justice Dairy Cove, we appreciate your business and wish good luck to the Rams.
If you love history, head over to YouTube and check out Blogging Through History. Hosted by Mineral Ridge High School graduate Chris Mowery, Blogging Through History visits historic sites to explore not only the well-known figures and events of the past, but also compelling stories that maybe you've never heard before. Chris would also like to wish his niece Amira Emsch and the Mineral Ridge Rams the best of luck for a successful 2023 season. From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One network.
And welcome back to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Empsch. Might have another caller call in. If not, we will be definitely getting a call about 6:45 from my partner in high school football, Matt Lipsack, the voice of the Youngstown Phantoms. You know, I wish I still had Jim on the phone. You know, we were talking about Colorado, and you look at what Colorado has done with prime time there already. And yeah, you know, they played against a buzzsaw when they met up with USC. You know, it pretty much did not go their way. But you look at, they had a big week last week, and you look at this week as well. Definitely a winnable game. But we'll go back to the Buffs in a second. I have Coach Gessler on the line. Coach Bob, thank you very much for being on the show tonight.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. I appreciate that.
Always a pleasure.
Mm-hmm. What's going
on? Well, you know, we are just, you know, doing a little, you know, hours worth of what's going on in our little neck of the woods with football. I just got off with Jim. I definitely want to get, you know, the view of his partner. You know, we both know what happened last week. Rams, you know, losing to the Tigers. Saw some good things from the young team. You know, what was your take on seeing, you know, what's coming up for the Rams?
Well, that's exactly what we had talked about in the booth. That overall, they're going to be a very good football team. I think they're a year behind. That's my opinion. Yeah, they beat the teams they should have beaten. But again, I think Springfield was just a bit stronger than they were on Friday night. A little bit more weapons, more seniors, and that makes a difference. But overall, I think they have done a great job with the season. And I think that they have the young guys that are going to be quite well next year. And I think you will see them right up there next to some of the number one teams.
I agree. And, you know, I'm obviously anybody that's, you know, associated with Mineral Ridge knows I know what's going on. I've had the luck to see a lot of these young kids last year. I saw that 7th, 8th grade team go undefeated. They got young kids coming up, but man, exciting things also, not just this year, possibly for both of those programs, but also for Springfield, because, you know, they're also, you know, got a great program going. You look at where they are, older guys, and they definitely could, you know, do something really special as well. What do you think about their matchup this week with the Blue Devils?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think it should be a problem. McDonald, the only problem I had with McDonald's was, and I spoke of this before, you know, they thought that, you know, this was going to be a decent year for them, and they were going to be way up there, and they were going to be right in it. And, you know, I don't know what their exact record is, but, you know, you see some of these games where it just, they're not hanging in there. And I just thought that, I think Springfield's just going to be a little bit too much for them. That's my opinion. So, you know, that remains to be seen. So, well, you know, again, we'll see what happens. You got to play a game, Matt, and you know that as well as I. You know, you can get a team like, whoever was you played this weekend, and I apologize on that one because I just listened to it, and that was
Southern Illinois.
And undefeated,
right?
And we're running all over and ranked whatever 6th, 8th in the country.
I think they were 5th. Jim said
5th.
Yeah.
Very well. And look what Youngstown State did to them. I mean, they absolutely annihilated them, and they didn't look. And again, Youngstown, not bad the week before, but, mistakes and everything. And you expected them to say, they may get beat by a touchdown or two, where they went in there and they really spanked them. So until you play the game, you don't know what's going to happen. Real quick, I went for a teeth cleaning, and I was talking to the girl who's cleaning my teeth. Her son plays, I won't mention any names, for South Range. And we were talking about South Range, and we laughed about some stuff. But what she assured me is, you think this team's loaded. Wait till you see next year. They are even better because they only have 4 seniors on that team. Yeah. And most of those guys are sophomore and juniors. So we have some quality teams that you're going to see that, and as well as I, it runs a circle. You'll get 3, 4, maybe 5 years where you got great teams, and then all of a sudden it slacks a little bit, then they pick it up again. That's just how football is. You can't stop it. That's how it always has been.
Yeah, it is. And I agree. You just bring up another program that has a bunch of young kids, and it's scary that they're that good and they have all those young kids there. So,
but that's with coaching though, Matt. And right. That's with going down and saying, hey, nothing against Pee-wees, but everybody knows how I feel about that level. But even if you go down there and you're around them, they see who you are and they go, oh my gosh, that's the high school coaches watching us. Then you get to the 7th and 8th grade level and coaches are there helping, they're seeing that they really care. Those kids want to play for you. So by the time they become, juniors and senior, man, they've already got a taste of you and they're ready to play for you because now they're also running your program back at that level. So obviously it's watered down, but they, some of the plays and how they're run, and that makes them so much better.
It does. And it's such an important mark, I think, for high school head coaches and even, his assistants to do what you just said, make themselves visible for these younger kids' games. That meant, when I was in grade school, I played Northeast Catholic. It was St. Ed's where I went, St. Anthony's and Immaculate Conception. And, those were all feeder schools for Ursuline. And I remember Dick Engel coming after our championship game. We had gone undefeated, and he made sure, and he showed up, and, he said, hey guys, hi. And you remember that, and you see those colors, and that draws the kids in. And
Absolutely.
You know all about that one with your history.
Absolutely. To me, that is absolutely what you have to do. I did it. When I was with the Volney staff and we were going through such great runs with teams and going at it, to see Ron Burtis leaning up against the goalpost during a practice and then coming and taking 5 minutes of his time to talk to the kids. I mean, he had them in the palm of their hand. Coach Burtis, oh my gosh, you come down here to see us. I mean, they fed that. And that's where coaches today, they have to realize kids are different today. They want a little sugar. So when you're going down to the lower levels, they see the coach and, maybe he really does care.
He does. And I think another guy that, is doing a great job at that, and it shows in his program, is Brian Shaner. And, I know that because, we're watching the team and I'm getting to see a lot of what's going on, obviously behind the scenes, and he is definitely doing it. And the guys that right ships and that win games are doing it that way. And it has to start at the young ages. And, I think everybody knows in 2023, you have to start young, and it starts young, and you have to have that trickle down effect. You get the guys that move up to that next level. I remember a couple weeks ago, you and I were talking about the Penguins. We were not very happy. Last week, a little different story. Give me your view on that some more in depth.
It's just, I of course, I couldn't get the game.
Right.
I ended up watching it the next day, and I got to hear one of my players and one of my great players who played at YSU and a national champion and at center, and Chris Samrode, and I messaged to him and stuff. Then I told him what a great job he did on TV, and he, of course, thanked me for that. But I'll tell you what, I was very shocked on how they came out and played. They were polished. Now, I don't know what Coach did or Coach threatened them with. And let me tell you what, he got their attention.
He did.
All aspects.
He did.
Every third of the game, special teams, they did a magnificent job. Defense, offense. That's what wins championships, when you could put a third, all the thirds together and all the teams together, and you do everything well. There's nobody's going to stop you.
I agree.
It's that simple.
Yeah. You know, so, it made me proud. I was glad to see that. And, I think everybody is just so used to seeing today, when they watch football on Saturdays on TV and they see, Georgia and Ohio State and Alabama, and they just think that every week is supposed to be, a lambasting and right. That's how you're going to win the champ. Well, you got to win close games and tough games. And that's what they did. And if he can keep that going on, 31-3 over Southern Illinois, who was, top 5, they got South Dakota this week. They're away. So hopefully they can pull off another win.
Well, that's the thing. That now, okay, you got the taste in your mouth. Let's not say I spent all the juices last week. Now, hey, next step. Now you got to go up the ladder again. So, I want to bring a point. I've listened to a couple of great coaches, college coaches, that said during interviews, why are you getting on the kids? Yeah, these are Alabama kids, and these are LSU kids, and you people are trashing their kids. Mm-hmm. They're going to make mistakes. And yet you people write about how they're no good. How dare you about any kid, whether it's my football team or anybody else. These kids are out there trying to bust their rear ends. And all you reporters do, who probably half of you never even hit any sports, and you're writing bad things about these kids. And you can't do that because these kids get affected by that. So you know what? You guys got to stop doing that. These kids are busting their rear ends and getting an education at the same time. Try it. You were there in college. You got to keep the grades up, or guess what? You're out.
Thank you so much for bringing that up. One of the things that a lot of people who have never played college athletics have no clue about is as a student athlete in college, you have really not much of a life in season. You're going to school during the day, then you got meetings, then you got practice, and then you got film and meetings afterwards, to bed and over again.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, Matt, and as well as I, because we're both fans of it, why do you think Notre Dame is what they are?
Yeah.
Notre Dame, yes, they want football teams. They want football players. But guess what? Classroom is first. That school, you better carry a big grade point average, because you ain't some schmuck that's going to go in there and sign up for racquetball and bowling, because it ain't going to happen and you're not going to play. No. And their standards to carry, and I'm not saying everybody, but their standards are top notch there. And it's very hard for students to understand when they go to a Notre Dame. Ben, you better hit the books and you better have it a brain in your head, because it ain't just football. It's the learning, and it's the degrees in their eyes are number one. And
well
that's how it should be.
Well put, well said. Hopefully they can win this weekend against USC, a huge game. Yep. Coach, good luck this Friday. I want to thank you for being on the show. It's always a pleasure. All right, brother.
Alrighty.
Have a good one.
You have a good one. Yes,
Same to you. Coach Bob Gessler, him and Jim Craven will be at that McDonald and Tigers game on Friday. This is Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emps. We'll be right back.
W&M Quality Roofing, LLC is an insured and bonded Mahoning Valley family-owned roofing business. At W&M, we treat your roof and home as if it's our very own. Give us a call at 330-647-0610 for a free estimate. Did you get damage from the latest storm? We also offer financing and specialists for insurance claims. For professional and efficient service, call W&M Quality Roofing at 330-647-0610.
SNK, painting your house today. SNK, painting your house
SNK Painting provides exceptional painting and refinishing services to the Mahoning Valley and surrounding communities by being an industry leader in our field, focusing on customer service and delivering extraordinary results. We offer interior and exterior painting, and we specialize in cabinet refinishing with affordable cabinet solution. Call SNK Painting for your free estimate at 330-505-1910.
SNK. painting your house today.
With over 30 years of experience, Madurix Butcher Block in Mineral Ridge is a quality-driven company focused on great personal service. Our fresh meats are of the finest cut. We make a variety of burgers, sausages, and a full line of deli meats. Using our own smokehouse, we prepare different types of jerky, snack sticks, kibasi, bacon, hot dogs, and bone-in hams. When your tummy needs some relief, call 652-BEEF. That's 330-652-2333. From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One network.
And welcome back to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emsch. We're going to go right into the lines. We have Matt Lipsack on, my partner, and just the voice of the Youngstown Phantoms. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing well this evening, Matt. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to hear your voice. I didn't get to hear it last weekend. I was away by myself on a 3-man team, but I'm used to having you, man. Glad to have you back this week.
I am looking forward to our adventure to Berlin Center this weekend, sir.
Yeah, I agree. Just a big week for them, playing one of the better teams in the conference. Definitely, in my opinion, one of those games that you want to try and get home field. These last two are really important.
I mean, absolutely. I think that Mineral Ridge, has to look at Western Reserve this upcoming game as kind of the way they looked at the Jackson Milton game. This is a winnable game, absolutely, but you're in for a stiff competition. So I'm sure Coach Shaner will have the boys ready.
Yeah, I agree. Looking at each schedule, I was looking at it the other day, and yeah, they did play some schools that the Rams did not, but definitely some capability of comparing, what they did versus, they played Lowville, they lost to Springfield, played Waterloo. So definitely have an idea. I agree with you. Definitely a winnable game. West Reserve at 6-2, the Rams at 5-3. Being away, I'm not so sure if the boys play well from Mineral Ridge. If they have all of their pieces back, you and I were talking about a little bit of, some dings last week. So hopefully they'll all be back. I think full go, they should definitely be able to pull a win out of Western Reserve.
I mean, I think it really, it's more than likely going to come down to the Mineral Ridge defense. Can they get the stops to get that high-powered offense back the ball?
I agree with you. The one thing I'm looking at right now, I was just looking at the Lowville score. Western Reserve definitely played better. It was a 21-14 loss. So I definitely I can pretty much guarantee Coach Shaner wanted that film, see what, Reserve did well against Lowville, which will also in turn, I would assume, help with that. And then, looking in the next week, week 10 already, so incredible. And just, a little rivalry game as well.
Yeah. Senior night, rivalry night against McDonald. Jolene Stadium's going to be packed to the brims, I'm sure. So I'm really looking forward to that one next week. But I guess really when you're looking at the computer points, Mineral Ridge has dropped to 11th. So they can't look past anybody right now. They have to live in the present. And, if they win both of these upcoming two games, they stand a very good chance to make the field of 16 and get into the Region 21 playoffs. But you got to win one before you can win two.
Yeah. And I liked what Coach Shaner actually just said. We had him on earlier, and one thing he said you definitely want to hear out of your head coaches. We're not worried about that game next week or whoever's down there. They know who it is. I played at Ursuline. Whoever we were playing the week before, Mooney, yes, we were dialed in, but we knew the next week was the Holy War. So for Mineral Ridge, their rivalry game is the Devils. They're going to be preparing for the two Blue Devils 2 weeks in a row. Ironic, but one from West Reserve, one from McDonald's. So it'll be a really big deal. Matt, I want to bring up to you something real quick before we go to hockey. We were talking with Jim about the University of Colorado, the Buffaloes at Boulder, and how well Primetime has done with the program. I mean, what's your take on that? He has done such a great job coaching in such a short amount of time. He's definitely proven his worth.
I mean, absolutely. It's not like it's all about the show. Deion Sanders is proving that he is a very capable NCAA Division I football coach, and that is not something that a lot of actual Division I college football coaches can say. He almost completely turned over his roster, and you would think, oh, okay, so there's 50 some new players here on a roster of 70. How are these guys going to come together? Well, you look to the man that's getting paid millions of dollars to lead the way, and he has done absolutely that. So all of the credit in the world to Deion Sanders and the job he is doing. I look forward to his continued success.
I do too. I've been a fan of the Buffs for a long time. Even though I'm a Notre Dame and Buckeye fan, I got a lot of respect and liking for the program of Colorado when they played Notre Dame in the national championship. People started noticing them more. They've fallen off the map, but you look at, they open up this season just by beating TCU, by the way. Then they beat Nebraska. They beat their in-state rival Colorado State in an overtime game. Yes, Oregon is on a different level. They destroyed them. They actually played closer with USC. I didn't know the score's 48-41. I thought it was a little more separated than that. I mean, that is great. They win again last week versus Arizona State. They have Stanford, then UCLA, Oregon State, just big games. He's doing a great job. So I'm glad that he was able to make that switch as well. I'll be paying attention. Now, going to the ice, what can you tell us? What is going on with our Phantoms this week?
Well, while you, Jim, and the coach were having yourselves a time on Friday night, the Youngstown Phantoms were defeating the Chicago Steel by the score of 5-3. A game that Phantoms head coach Ryan Ward wasn't thrilled with, even though you look at the final score and they won by 2, but they were up 5-1 and gave up 2 goals in the final 15 seconds of the second period. Well, a goal in the final 15 seconds of the second period, a goal in the final 15 seconds of the third period. And that's not how you want to close out periods. That's not how you want to close out games when you're up 5-1. He thought his boys took their foot off the gas a little bit, but then turn it around to the next night on Saturday, and the Phantoms beat the Des Moines Buccaneers by the score of 4-1, and almost exactly the opposite. They go into the third period leading 2-1, and they put 2 more into the Des Moines net, and really just and I'm gonna just directly quote Coach Ward here, they smelled blood in the water and they went into attack mode. And that is exactly what you want to see. And the Phantoms, they are the second youngest team in the USHL. So if this young team can come together and learn how to win and put games away this early in the season, that does not bode well for the rest of the USHL. But, again, we are the defending Clark Cup champions, so we're going to have a target on our back, and we're going to be getting everybody's best shot every night. And right now, frankly, Ryan Ward's saying, bring it on, and I love to see it.
I do too. I'm hooked now. I am definitely going to be at more games. I had a blast watching it and getting to see that. And I agree with you. I mean, I'm a novice at best with the sport of hockey. Normally I only pay attention if the Penguins are in the finals and, how the Phantoms are doing, and getting to see it firsthand. And it's, some people out there, well, I'm not a big fan of hockey. I don't like to watch it on TV, but I'm going to tell you what, as somebody who felt that way watching it in person, as that was my first in-person hockey game ever. It is really fun to watch. It's a completely different than watching it on TV. So, you guys definitely try and make your way down to the Cavelli Center this season. There's just a championship team that plays there and is playing very well. And my partner calls the games. Who do they have this week, Matt?
The Phantoms are on the road for the next 4, actually. This weekend, they will be in Lincoln to take on the Icebox, or to take on the Lincoln Stars at the Icebox, which is what they call their rink out there in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Nice.
Fun fact, head coach of the Lincoln Stars is Rocky Russo, who is a Youngstown native.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Well, then, I'll feel a little bad. Phantoms take care of business.
I'm not going to feel bad at all.
I'm just being nice.
Next weekend, the Phantoms actually have a 2-city road trip. They will be in Madison, Wisconsin to take on the Madison Capitals on Friday night next weekend. The first place Madison Capitals, and nobody saw that coming, as awful as Madison was last season. But then next Saturday, the Phantoms will then turn down to Chicago on their way back to Youngstown. So a split weekend next weekend between Madison and Chicago, and then Youngstown will be back for 5 games. 5-game homestands starting the 27th. We have 2 against Sioux Falls. And then I think it's actually Madison coming in on the 29th, which is a Sunday, for a mid-afternoon game, 4:00 starts. I think the Tri-City Storm will be in the first weekend of November. So Phantoms, 2 weeks on the road, and then we'll be home for 2 weekends. Of course, would love to see everybody down at the Cavelli Center. When you're not at your week 1 playoff games, which is where, Mineral Ridge is looking to be on October the 27th.
Right. Well, I definitely, like I said, will be back, and I definitely will be excited for them making it, and we'll miss you because you will be busy. But there, you guys, real quick, because we're coming up close to the end here. Do you guys ever play anybody in your season that you guys have outside games at?
Last year the Phantoms did have, the Cleveland Classic where they played at Cleveland Brown Stadium against the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders. But there's no regularly scheduled thing. This was just a special occasion that we heard that Ohio State and Michigan were getting together for an outdoor game, and there was going to be the rink there. And we said, hey, can we get in on that action? And, it worked out really well.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I just thought of it, just went through my head, because whenever the NHL has those, special games outside, it was made for outside play, and, if it's snowing and in the winter, and unfortunately we're heading towards that time of the year. So I was just curious. Partner, thank you for calling in. As always, a pleasure. I'm glad I'll be back with you, this week when we travel to Berlin Center. Tell your wife and kids hello.
I will, sir. You say hello to Stacy and Amira for me as well.
I will. And go Phantoms. Thanks again, Matt Lipsack, for being on the show today. Everybody make sure that you head down to the Cavelli Center and watch them. I'm telling you, I'm just not being nice because, I have a connection to the Phantoms. I had an amazing time. Jim Craven looked at me at one point in the night. I think it was like the 10-0 at that point, finished 12. And he said, wow, what a night you picked to come see. And he was right. It was super exciting. Like I said at the beginning, they raised the banners. They brought the trophy out onto the field. There's nothing like seeing that. I can't wait to see the rings when they come out. I know they're being made. Jim and Dave and Matt will be all getting some jewelry. It'll be really exciting. Everybody, make sure this week you turn on Western Reserve Radio and you go to Channel 3 to City View Sportscast to listen to the Mineral Ridge Rams, 6:45 p.m. You are going to have pregame with me and Matt Lipsack. And then at 7 o'clock, you're going to have the actual kickoff against the Blue Devils of Western Reserve. We're going to get them. Let's go, Rams. Thanks for listening to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emsch. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.
From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One network.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm going to do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency. Who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio, Take One.